Even in the safest and most peaceful countries, some level of corruption seems to exist in governments all over the world. The motivation behind corruption is often money or power, and it can have serious effects on the well-being of a country and its people. In this video, we shall be taking a look at the top 10 most corrupt countries in the world. The data we are using is based on a statistic report that quantifies the level of perceived corruption in different countries, known as the Corruption Perception Index. With that said, let's begin. 10. Libya. Known for its vast oil reserves and ancient capital Tripoli, Libya is another African country that has struggled with corruption for many years. One of the major drivers of corruption in the country is well derived from its oil reserves, which is connected to embezzlement, bribes, and kickbacks. Corruption became significantly worse in Libya during Muammar Gaddafi's time in power, when billions of dollars were exchanged in illegal deals in the energy sector. Corruption has continued to be prevalent in the country after the end of Gaddafi's reign, and enforcement efforts have proven mostly ineffective. 9. North Korea. Access to up-to-date information on North Korea is difficult because the country is so politically secluded, but first-hand accounts from escapees shed some light on the situation within its borders. North Korea's state-run public distribution system failed and collapsed around 1994. This has forced the country's people to work and engage in informal markets where bribery is necessary for obtaining basic goods like food. Also, large portions of North Korea's resources are allocated to maintaining its military forces, which deprives the general population. A significant portion of the population is also thought to be subjected to food scarcity. 8. Haiti. Corruption in Haiti exists at the highest levels of government and in everyday life. In recent history, the country has been subjected to a number of natural disasters, such as cholera outbreaks and major earthquakes, which have only exacerbated issues caused by widespread gang activity and the presidential assassination of 2021. Politicians in Haiti have historically used gangs to intimidate opponents and provide protection, and these gangs have only attained more power in recent years. There are severe food shortages in Haiti, and drug trafficking activity has increased. Canada has imposed sanctions on wealthy Haitian businessmen for engaging in corruption and gang activity. 7. Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea is a small country located in West Africa, and is the only country on the continent where Spanish is one of its official languages. The country is also known for its vast oil reserves. Wealth obtained from Equatorial Guinea's oil trade has been one of the primary drivers of corruption in the country, with officials engaging in embezzlement and bribery. These issues are made worse by low levels of government transparency and accountability combined with limited journalistic freedom. In recent events, the son of Equatorial Guinea's president, Ruslan Obiang-Nsu, was arrested in 2023 for allegedly selling an aircraft belonging to the country's national airline. 6. Burundi. Burundi is a small nation situated in Central Africa. The country is densely populated and sits in the Great Rift Valley near many of Africa's largest lakes. The country is among the most corrupt countries in the world, and it is one of the poorest as well. Corruption in Burundi exists at all levels of the country's political and economical systems. Bribery, nepotism, and embezzlement are all common practices and have negative impacts on the country's economic growth and access to public services. There are anti-corruption laws in place in Burundi, but enforcement is lacking and often politically motivated. 5. Yemen. With a CPI score of 16, Yemen is the fifth most corrupt country in the world. Yemen is located at the southern end of the Arabian Peninsula and has been subjected to political stability and war since 2014. The situation in the country even declared the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Political instability in Yemen has weakened government institutions and the country's ability to maintain rule of law. This creates opportunities for activities like bribery, nepotism, and embezzlement to go unchecked. In 2019, UN officials accused the Houthi group of money laundering, using $1.8 billion in state revenue to fund its war effort. 4. Venezuela. Widespread poverty is one of the most significant struggles faced by Venezuelans, and one of the main causes is corruption. Funds intended to relieve food shortages in the country, for example, only brought in 25% of the food expected, and only 14% of it was distributed to those in need. In another instance of corruption, Powdered milk was illegally smuggled into Colombia by state-owned company despite an extreme domestic shortage of powdered milk at the time. Much of the blame for Venezuela's corruption problem has been placed on Nicolas Maduro, the country's president since 2013. 3. Syria. Of Syria's many struggles, its ongoing civil war that began in 2011 is at the center. A great portion of the country's clean drinking water sources have been damaged by war, which has led to cholera outbreaks in the country. Members of the World Health Organization in Syria have been accused of corruption in the form of bribery and misappropriation of funds. Bribery in Syria is one of the country's most pervasive forms of corruption. Although Syrian laws exist which punish all parties involved in a bribe, there have been no effective government efforts to stop the practice. 2. South Sudan. South Sudan is the world's youngest country, gaining independence in 2011. It is also the second most corrupt country in the world. Since its independence, the economic development of South Sudan has been hindered by rampant corruption in the form of misappropriation of public funds, embezzlement, and bribery. An investigation has showed that top officials in the country had deprived vulnerable communities of millions of dollars worth of food and medicine. Even the president himself and his family allegedly benefited from these funds. Thriving with a lack of transparency and weak enforcement policies, corruption has eroded public trust, fueled social unrest, and impeded progress in South Sudan. Somalia. According to Global Corruption Perception Index (CPI), Somalia is the most corrupt country in the world. It is located in the Horn of Africa on the continent's east coast and is infamous for its pirates and civil wars. Corruption in Somalia exists in both public and private sectors, with government officials and business people engaging in bribery, nepotism, embezzlement, and misappropriation of funds. The lack of a well-functioning central government makes it easy for corruption to flourish, as there are no effective means of combating it. The police force and judicial system in Somalia are essentially ineffective because of corruption, and businesses are forced to either arm themselves or cooperate with violent groups. Corruption has been a problem in Somalia for decades and has kept the country from making significant economic and social progress. So, there you have it, viewers. The top 10 most corrupt countries in the world. Make sure to give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you don't miss any of our future uploads. Thanks for watching this one, catch you all in the next.